The doctor's words echoed in his mind, a grim prophecy. One more fight could be his last. His ribs, a fragile cage, were cracked. His heart, the very engine of his will, was weak. Every turn of his head sent his vision into a blurry spiral. Logic screamed at him to stop, to walk away, to preserve what little he had left. But logic has no place in the heart of a fighter. When the arena lights blazed to life, washing over the canvas, and the roar of the crowd began to build, chanting his name, a wave of pure energy washed away the fear, the pain, the doctor's warnings. He knew, in that moment, that a life lived in fear was no life at all. He would rather meet his end on his own 2 feet, gloves raised, than fade away in the quiet shadows of regret. The bell, a sharp, piercing cry, rang through the electric air. His battle had begun. Across the ring stood his opponent, younger, faster, a perfect, unbroken specimen of a fighter in his prime. Every jab, every hook, was a bolt of lightning tearing through his already battered chest. The world narrowed to the space between them. A brutal dance of survival. Blood, warm and metallic, began to drip from his nose, a crimson tear on the canvas. But he didn't stop. He kept swinging, each punch a testament to his defiance. His arms grew heavy, his legs felt like lead, but he planted his feet and swung again. Round after grueling round, his body screamed for surrender. It was a symphony of agony, each muscle fiber, each bone begging for release. His vision blurred, the cheers of the crowd melting into a distant, muffled roar. He was operating on something beyond physical endurance now. His body had given up, but his soul, that stubborn, indomitable spark, refused to be extinguished. It was his soul that pulled him up from the stool, that forced his legs to move, that raised his fists one more time. He was fighting on memory, on instinct, on pure, unadulterated will. Then came the final round, the final seconds. He could barely stand, swaying on his feet like a tree in a hurricane. His vision was a kaleidoscope of light and shadow. The referee's face appeared, a mask of concern, his hand hovering, ready to call it, to save him from himself. But then, something shifted. A single voice from the crowd, then another and another, until the entire arena rose to its feet. It was a tidal wave of sound, a unified roar of his name, a collective belief that pushed back against the encroaching darkness. That sound, that faith, was the only fuel he had left. He drew one last ragged breath, a fire igniting in his weary lungs. He poured every ounce of his life, every memory, every heartbreak, every victory into a single final act of defiance. He threw everything he had left. One single punch. For a heartbeat, there was absolute silence. The roar of the crowd, the thumping of his own heart, the world itself seemed to hold its breath. And then, the thunderous crash of a body hitting the canvas. The knockout. He didn't get his hand raised that night. The official scorecard didn't declare him the winner of the match. But as he stood there, gasping for air, blood and sweat mingling on his face, he knew he had won something far more valuable. He had won his life back. Because that night in that ring under those bright lights, he wasn't just fighting an opponent. He was fighting death itself. And he won. This story isn't just about boxing. It's about that moment in all of our lives when we're told it's over, when the odds are impossible, when our own bodies and minds seem to betray us. It's about finding that last ounce of strength, that final defiant breath and fighting back. It's about choosing to live. Truly live, even if it's just for one more round. What fight are you facing today? Find that strength within you, because your greatest victory is waiting on the other side. Thank you so much for watching, and for being a part of this journey. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. We all have a fight to win. Let's win it together.